Welcome to the Federation X podcast. I'm Grayson. With me tonight is Lars. Joining us will be Genocide, who is in typical Genocide fashion, not on time or at all punctual for what we're trying to accomplish. Kind of like his ideas, it's a little half-baked and it's going to need somebody else to make it flourish and actually become what it could possibly be. So, Tim, welcome to the show. Glad you're on again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great Saturday night as usual.
That's right. We're going to dive in. We have hey, there's Robert already on there. Good to see you. We have a whole host of topics. A lot of those topics baked around some dialogue, some debate, some discourse that started on the Discord channel between yourself and Genocide. So we can do one of two things. We can wait for him and be fair, or we can vote on everything right now and he can win nothing. He will lose every aspect of the debate because he is late to the party. He is showing less focus and effort than a Johnny XS post right now.
Yeah, it's kind of strange because he was all amped up 30 minutes ago and he's now gone. So
probably had to go to the bathroom. And unlike the podcast from long ago, we have certain standards, and one of them is we don't let him on if that's the state of his presentation. So let's take the few minutes, hopefully, before Genocide jumps on and joins us. Let's talk about just what's been going on the boards, because there's been some really good activity and some new returns, some faces we haven't seen before, and all of it in the last week. I just finished doing the post counts for the week to figure out new standings and was really excited as I was pinging you going 24 this day, 28 this day. Like, it's been a pretty active week since the card last week.
Yeah, it seems like every two or 3 days there's a new person showing up. Old character, maybe changing into a new kind of found role, whether that's their son or daughter that's coming into play. Which is great because I think it's good to churn new ideas, and even if you want to carry on your name or whatever, it's fun to add to it. But yeah, that's interesting. And it's not died down as far as the activity level goes. Like we saw kind of in the first couple weeks where weekends would be kind of slow, but man, it's great to see. And if you're not up on it, watching, one thing or the other, it will get away from you. So it's kind of got to watch just one thing. We have a visitor.
Yeah, my hair, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, we figured you were busy working on your hair. Wanted to make sure it looked perfect for the podcast.
This hair, I can't even see. My hair's in my eyes. Wait, hold on.
Yeah. Just let me just get it out of the way there.
Hey, there's everybody.
Good. How are you? Hey, listen, we voted on all the things you wanted to talk about, and you lose.
That's usually how it goes.
Cue the Trump loser meme.
Fake.
So before we dive into the topics, we were just talking about some of the new old characters or faces that have shown up in the last week. Surprising number of them making a return or dropping in. Let's just go around the horn before we dig into our big topics and throw a little shout out. One of us, pick the one you were most surprised to see, most excited to see, whatever you want. Tim, is there one that stands out for you?
Well, I absolutely love seeing Valentine show back up, right? So
Yes.
We got a chance to see a couple of his posts, which is, they're always great. They're always great to interact with. And then, we were talking to him a little bit on Discord, and he's considering maybe throwing a new character out there that'll just eventually turn up to have all the traits of Valentine anyway. So
yeah, that was pretty good. And Val got so much love in the early podcasts. I think we now collectively need to make it our mission. Somebody out there knows how to get a hold of Osiris, and we should, right? Val's back. We can't have that without Osiris. It just doesn't feel right. So if you know how to get in touch with him, if you've got an email, if you remember the last time he messaged you somewhere, like, reach out and make sure he knows, because we'd love to see him come back. Even if it's limited capacity a little bit, it doesn't feel right that Val doesn't have his partner backing him up. All right, Miller, what about you? Is there somebody who's shown up that stands out for you?
You gotta say, Hank Hooligan.
Yeah.
You knew he showed up anywhere, right?
Does it ruin the fun, or does it take it in a new direction that you can't count him out anymore?
No, definitely new direction. The whole reason I wanted to count him out was to build up to a big match, and we kind of got that at King of the Cage, but he didn't really hit his post caps. And some interesting opportunities, though.
Yeah, I saw you try and count him out on Discord. Didn't work out. That was pretty clever.
It's up to 8, I think.
Made it to the ring before you could get there. Hey, I see that we got Brendan on the live stream, and Colts jumped on there as well. A couple more shout outs. So lots of people I knew. I have not had a chance to be in a Fed and play with Law Martin before, and I'm a little bit excited. I'm looking forward to it. I thought it was amazing to see him show up, and so of the ones that have happened in the last few days, that certainly stands out for me. I don't think we can look past it. It's kind of cool. I love that he showed up and said, "Hey, the podcasts are kind of addictive, and all right, let's do this thing." So that was fun. That was cool to see him show up and come back.
Yeah, I think all these media outlets add so much to the to the value of what you're doing and playing on a regular basis. It's really fun to see the faces and hear your characters' names and have everybody kind of follow through. And as we're doing reporting and stuff on the card reveals and stuff like that, it's always good.
Yeah, I see our friend James, who also today reactivated his account. If word hasn't gotten out, I see him on the live stream. Stan Daniels, ladies and gentlemen, is back in the house.
We have a Tiffany Daniels post just as we started.
Oh, that wicked bitch. Oh, I don't know. That's not a good thing. I see Randall on there as well. This is a good time for us to see some of these people showing up, and great to see. Hey, did either of you two figure out somebody joined our Discord, and more than one person has said that looks like a familiar name, but I don't know who it is, and they seem to kind of be lurking since then. I don't know who it is. Has anybody figured that one out?
I don't think so.
All the mystery.
Mysterious
Just
anus,
like,
maybe.
What was that?
Maybe it's a mysterious anus.
I was just going to say, maybe it's one of the anus eye. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, so tonight we had a couple of things we wanted to talk about. And normally I write up a really regimented format, but I actually just kind of want to facilitate as much as possible because I know that you guys have had a couple of things you've batted back and forth. And so conceptually, we're gonna dive in and just have a chance to talk about some of these things. Do either of you have one of the topics you want to start with? Is there one that stands out that you want to sink your teeth into first?
I don't know. Speaking of anuses and boners, the idea of a Federation X network that's more than just wrestling fed. It's kind of like the WWE network. They have stuff that's following the wrestlers around, but we could take it to crazy places. Like I think somebody said Boner High, and Geno's the angry principals, the principal chasing the boners around, or some planet where like Twitter lesbians are really, really tough.
Tell me what it's like when you get back.
Or just random boner stuff. Just we kind of touched on it a little bit, but there are a lot of people out there role playing our style of game, but not wrestling. They're doing demon hunting or
vampire stuff or
exactly
style stuff. Sure.
So would you suggest this be within our same forums, just on a different board classification based on whatever that style is?
I mean, even if there's only going to be a few of them, they could even just be like a locked post at the top of the board, you know, kind of like a match container even.
Yeah, potentially.
And, you know, if it stops getting ratings and, you know, ratings mean posts, then, you know. Or maybe the ratings would put it back up on the top because somebody replied to it.
Yeah, I think the challenge with ratings means posts is this. 48 jazz posts does not equal ratings. It equals an active circle jerk.
This is true.
It's better than an inactive circle jerk. Nobody wants that.
I mean, I guess if that's what you're looking for, man.
That should be what we call the card opening battle royal from now on, the inactive circle jerk.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I see Jay out there saying all this talk of boners is going to get him to interrupt his wife and get her on Facebook. I don't know that that's the best decision. So there's Max Sterling showing up for the live stream. Welcome, guys. Good to see everybody out there. Do you have specific ones you think we should start with? I mean, there seems to be an inclination to, in the very least, create a boner playground that maybe doesn't spam the boards. Did you have a theme or one or two that you thought we should take, you know, as
something I thought
positions?
Might be funny would be, you could either do completely new characters, or I think it would be funny to have our wrestling characters get into strange situations and have the world just completely fall apart and be destroyed, but it doesn't ruin Monday Night Raw, you know? So like we could have a zombie apocalypse. Now everybody actually want to sell it instead of just making posts for the card and just avoiding it. It would be the place to do zombie stuff. We don't need to unleash zombies on the Fed. There's zombies up there.
Tim, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think it would be a thing for maybe a week, you know, for those interested, and I think it would lose interest pretty quickly. But I may be wrong.
I thought that about the boners.
Well, the boners are interested in themselves. I don't know if that's the same thing as maintaining interest for everybody else. Was that Haley?
Might have been. Imaginary.
There you go.
There.
So, all right. So that's a possibility.
No, I'm 100% sure you could put a post container for the boners and it'd be nonstop jazz. That's completely different than the zombie apocalypse, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility, and I think you could get some creative channels. So how about this?
It'd be something that encourages creativity without taking away from the flow of the Fed.
Yeah. So would you get them to give you proposals for something they wanted to run as a channel, and or would you just throw it up and let everybody go nuts in one container?
Do a pilot.
Yeah.
People don't like it, they won't reply, you know. Pilot fails, it gets bad ratings. Nobody follows it up. If it's a good show, a bunch of people follow it up. I think it kind of takes care of itself in that way.
Yeah. Hey, I should mention, I saw Randall's there, and he's from ECWF and dropped by to just listen to the podcast. Hey, man, we love that. We super appreciate that you dropped by to listen to this inanity that we talk about on a semi-weekly basis. So welcome, jump in, talk to the guys in the live stream, ask questions. We'll try and pay attention for them if we can. Thanks for coming by. So Geno, I mean, you're really kind of pushing the idea. What does it look like to get it off the ground?
Kind of the idea guy. I don't know.
This is why we often ask Geno how it's going to happen when he comes up with ideas, because then it doesn't.
Well, in this idea, I think it's something that doesn't take a whole lot of management. You know, people put, you know, new show up and just, I don't know, something, quotation to non-canon, you know, it's not a part of FedEx. And I feel like it doesn't take a whole lot of management other than just inviting these other types of players in. And then once they get in the door, then, hey, wrestling's pretty cool. Or,
Yeah.
Benny Blair's pretty cool. What's he doing over here? Ooh, jazz. No thanks.
Right.
Or I love jazz.
So you're essentially, it's really no regulation. I mean, there's nothing anybody needs to do. Just let it go.
That's how most of my ideas are.
Throw the plot and throw it on the ground
Yeah.
and let it go until it dies. And
Like
and
most
it's
of my
gone.
ideas, there's nothing to stop anybody from doing it right now. It's just how we react to it as a player base and as admin. And do we encourage it? Do we ignore it? Do we?
Yeah.
You know.
I guess the question here, Geno, is that different than, oh, I see I'm like, am I blurry to you guys all of a sudden?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just my first
It wasn't.
one,
Give me a
too.
second. You guys
first.
see if you can carry through this. Let me go
Sure.
see if I can fix my video. 'Cause I don't know
So
if I can.
Geno, do you like the post container idea on the role play board for our wrestling stuff proper, or would you be open to it being in like, you know,
I mean, I guess it depends on if it gets to be big and it needs its own board. I figured at first it wouldn't be big. It'd be one or two shows. I thought a good idea might be like a cooking show. Guys go in character and whip up. You could Lars brews us a beer, you know, something like that.
be really boring.
Yeah, but you could incorporate, you know, your character. And
I mean, I could do something like this and in real time, the beer brewing process would be a lot more interesting.
yeah, beer is probably not the best example. It's a little more
Go make us a pie,
scientific. And
Geno.
wait for 4 hours, 8 hours, 2 days,
So-
whatever. You know?
So one of the comments out there is from our friend down under, and his comment was, "It just sounds like you don't want stuff you don't want to sell on the main board." Which I don't think is the way you're positioning it, but it's worth asking. Are you just trying to avoid having like a rampant zombie angle running around a wrestling fed that you just don't really want to address?
Sometimes, I mean, I have, you know, I've had this post planned out and there's angles and there's feuds going on, and zombies weren't really. I didn't.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
don't
do
know how
much.
to change this to fit zombies in, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't a story that I really wanted to be in, so I wasn't. I kind of.
And
Happily
it happens effectively as it is, you know.
Right.
I just feel like in some ways, you know, if I could go over here and do zombie stuff without, you know, and not have to sell it on the next card. Oh, what happened to Geno's arm? Well, they had to saw it off. He got ate by a zombie. He got bit.
So the other side of that argument, though, is I think Kieran's doing a really good job of selling. Like, he liked it and leaned into it, and he's doing a good job of selling it. And there's something in that for him. So do we necessarily want to say, oh, if you're going to do something ridiculous and crazy, like do it in this locked container so that.
And I guess there's nothing to stop somebody from bringing the stuff in from their zombie show and using it in their character,
right,
and selling it as like they're from the zombie world.
Yeah. So
Not really.
here's my comment. Just trying to listen and process. And I'm all about trying to figure out new things and progress us and progress our community that we have that is just a little small speck of a larger picture. I mean, we're what, a month in to trying to rebuild this thing and trying to get everybody back together. You know, and I wouldn't mind those ideas, but I do worry about, like, the bigger picture of, you know, how do we build this thing to where 3 months down the road we're not fizzled out and we don't have the activity we want. Some people
Yeah,
coming, some people are sick and tired of wrestling, right? They don't want it. You know, they're probably not around anymore, or probably aren't active, right? So we see that, but the ones that are probably posting about wrestling on our board every day in the range of 25 to 30 posts a day. So we need to be careful about it, is all I'm saying, is if I don't want to split that up and hurt the core of it.
Right. I see it as something that might give people a chance that are sick of wrestling or sick of the game to still, but they're not necessarily sick of the community.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily sick of writing.
Right.
Just a way to keep the community engaged that's not necessarily just the wrestling game.
So let me just ask the question. Do you think that the 6-year break we gave them from writing wrestling was enough, or do you think they need more?
Or do you think Geno
Geno
just needs to run the Sci-Fi Federation again and just get it over with?
Yeah. We nominated him. The last time we nominated him for a Fed, it did not.
Call it Empire Part 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
Return of the Boners.
Oh my gosh. Of all the things I would actually support you in pushing to its own channel, that is, and not because I mind they're fun, because I actually think it could be problematic to new players landing on our page to try and to open up and see 7 of those posts in a row and read them and go, what the hell am I doing here?
Run as fast as you can. Yeah.
Zombies running around might kind of turn some players off too.
Could be, but at least it's in some form of story. Also, I feel really bad for Colt, so you guys will just have to bear with me here. Colt seemed disturbed that my hat was on the wrong way, and I wouldn't want you to not enjoy that, Colt. So let me just get that fixed right up for you there. Hopefully that makes this all better for you.
What are we doing?
Just fixing my hair here. I can.
Yeah, both of them.
Hey, it's been a long time since I had a haircut too. It looks better.
I hear you. Colt's happy now. That's all that I really cared about. So I think we're getting a mixed reaction from the people watching, which is, we're getting some. Actually, I don't think it's terribly mixed. I think it's largely not endorsed at this particular point. The live stream really
a lot of heels watching tonight. Wow.
Really seems to be a sense of, hey, just let it be on the board. Let's be creative. If we want to get into it, let us get into it.
They just don't like it because it's my idea.
Well, it's a possibility.
It's all about you.
Something's going on with my bandwidth, guys, but let me just keep talking. I'll drop out and pop back on and see if it fixes it like it did last time.
Sure. So, you saw the nature of it, because there's other boards and other scenarios that just do that in our same kind of rolling role play style. And I appreciate that.
And it's just 2 people, and they've been just going back for like 3 years, 200 pages of them just cunning demons and having
they're on the Lord of the Rings walk, forever and ever.
There's sci-fi stuff, there's fantasy stuff, there's like high school drama stuff. And I figured we just send Johnny Excess saying get all of them pregnant and see where that goes.
Well, we sent him to Twitter for 1 day and the world went mad. So
it's a good thing we've been contained in this bubble for 20 years.
So Karen wants you to know that Maverick could have had the same idea as you and he would have hated it just as much. Speaking of Maverick, we did harass him, just so everybody knows, and we tried to get him to at least come on a podcast. And he said, "Let me look into it," and never contacted any of us again. So I'll pester him again at some point in time. See if he gets more bored. He's in Florida. They don't lock down in Florida, so he's still doing a bunch of stuff. So his life hasn't been nearly as restrained as ours. All right. Let's shift gears. I think we've talked through this one. I think you've kind of presented your case. I don't know that.
And it's not necessarily something for right now, but just
right. But
it's an idea I've had kicking around in my head for like.
Well, I mean, my initial
this rebirth thing. So
my initial response is, okay, try it, see what happens. You know.
Totally agree.
I mean, what? But I
don't think you'll be able to contain them on Discord or the regular boards, to be honest.
It's a little bit, crazier on Discord, obviously, but
looked a lot like Empire at the end and the beginning.
Nothing looked a lot like Empire. Let's talk about the promotion idea you had, because I know that's one you guys have bounced back and forth a couple of times on Discord. I know you've championed or advocated the idea more than once in the last few weeks even. So why don't you throw the idea out, let us kind of get a good understanding of it, and then we'll piss on it.
Got it. Well, first of all, like they're similar to the FedEx network idea, there's nothing stopping anybody from going and organizing their own card and promoting it and building it up. It's just I don't have any authority to make anybody show up, but then again, neither to really. It's all pretend authority. It's a pretend game,
Right.
It's people that I know can show up, and that's kind of what I'd start with. Most of my matches would probably be big matches with Geno. I feel like I'm kind of working a Lesnar, Hollywood Hogan schedule now, So FedEx can afford.
I don't know that it can afford.
Not that I'm worth it, but I charge a lot,
Yeah. So how would you envision that going on? And you kind of posted it as like anybody could do it. So I understand the concept of what you're saying. I think what I'm asking is, what does that execution really look like? And how do you make sure it doesn't become 8 people trying to do it at the same time? You remember what happened when we took down Fed Walls? Because I had a similar idea, and I think it's really possible to do it well. The problem is you almost need to build a structure to the game where somebody says, like Tim's running Chicago, and Tim sends, Alan Scott hey, do you want a contract to be on this show? I'll pay you this much money. And when I commit, I can't be in another part of the country on the same day. So you can't book me to be there. Because what happened when we took down Fed Walls is everybody had their cards like overlap or near the same day. And they didn't worry about whether or not I was willing to show up. They just booked me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to get to the player base and the healthy, player community that we had back 10 years ago. That'd be great to start to think about adding federations, within the network. Right. And I think that might be, what I would lean to more than like a promotion within the base Fed more than anything else. Just because, we would have had to have grown the Fed in a way where there's going to be 2 healthy rosters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of my first kind of take on it is you want to run a Fed, and promote it. Might as well just have your own Fed.
Well, I don't really want a Fed. I want to promote cards from FedEx. I'm going to let you guys do most of the work and me.
Of course.
That sounds like you.
And promote douchebag endings all the time.
Exactly. The more douche, the better. Thursday night douchebag. Here's what my card would look like. It'd be kind of similar setup to how they promote UFC or boxing. I'm basing it around one big main event. A big main event that bigger than a normal show,
Right.
pay-per-view level, but not necessarily a big title match or something. A big judge match, a big
Sure.
dream fight type situation. And then I book a few, it's not a card, everyone's on it, everyone's involved. It's not that type of thing. It's 3-4 segments. I'm booking in-ring interviews, and I'm booking you start off the show, go out and get on the mic, douche it up. Then I'll book somebody else to go out there and interrupt them. And maybe that turns into a match, or maybe it doesn't. And then, you know, have a couple more matches and build up to the main event. And it's something that it's not instead of a normal card or instead of a pay-per-view. It's an extra thing. You guys like remember WCW, the Clash of the Champions, you know? That was like a big extra thing, you know?
I gotcha. I'm with you. So I can see the appeal of it.
So, I mean, the thing that stands out to me more than anything is that it seems like your structure is kind of a cross between a hybrid angle fed and what we do. So your endings, right? Yeah. So your endings will be pre-submitted by either opponent, and you'll take
or any outside person
based on their angle.
Right. I don't think we've talked about that on here, but my idea for match endings are anybody submit, and not a full out I'm writing a ballroom brawl entry match ending. Just outline it. These are the things. These are why it sells the Fed. And the more creative, the better. You know, if just I'm landing my finishing, getting the 1, 2, 3. Now let's get some douchebag endings. Let's get DQs. Let's get a double count out where you're slugging it out on the outside that builds to the pay-per-view match later. That is the official FedEx card or whatever. Where, you know, I got real judges judging it, and
where your idea is more to promote those
yes
crazy endings rather than they
but
don't
then my
happen.
big main event, and you know that might be more of a story thing too. Maybe I got a sniff of a big swerve going on, you know. Maybe I'm doing a big swerve or something, you know. Who knows? But it doesn't. You know, the main event doesn't necessarily need to be a big match. I could book a Good Guys reunion or something, or Geno's retirement ceremony or something, you know.
Why?
Because the main event isn't always a match, you know.
So to go back to the point, I mean, it sounded like
everybody would show up to give me lots of presents, gold watches, and
I mean, it sounds like to me more of a hybrid angle fed situation where you're asking but instead of the fed head determining the ending and writing the ending, you're having the player with the best ending or to your choosing.
And instead of a judge,
to write the ending,
it's a booker, we'd call them, or you know, judge, whatever. It doesn't matter, but they're kind of using the best angle that's going to move the Fed ahead. Move the angle ahead. What sells more angles in the Fed? What?
So if you show up and you say, I'm running an event. I want to book you on it. I go, okay, what are you looking for? And you go, I think I got, you and them in a match. Okay. I show up for the match. Am I simming? Am I just writing a couple of posts back and forth and then it's out of my hands? Like, what does this look like?
Well, I've had an idea for a different structure to how a card would work, and this would be a good experiment for it. Instead of every match happening these 3 days, I don't like it, especially if you're double booked. Like I've had so many situations where I like have a title match, third match, and then I'm defending the tag titles later on, and like, do I still have the title when I come out? It screws with me. I feel like a card that takes place kind of just one match at a time. Like my first match starts on Monday morning, and they're doing a couple quick matches back and forth. It's lasting a day, day and a half. We're getting the ending. Tuesday, my next match starts.
You're gonna have in your idea is to have basically less content during the match and more content at the end, essentially.
No, not necessarily less content, but shorter posts, more back and forth. Like kind of similar to how a C-Slam match post was, just a couple moves. We weren't, backstage. There's a subplot, it wasn't necessarily all of that. I need to get extra points. I need more action, more of this. It's like, let's do some body slams and let's hit somebody with a chair. Let's have the manager trip them. What's going on, And then, I feel like the match endings in wrestling, that's the biggest thing. But in our game, nobody reads them. Everybody, you already know what happened.
Well, you don't read them. I read them.
Well, I read them sometimes, but if back on our old board, we had how many times it was read? They were always the lowest read posts on the board.
Well, I think old, sure. If we ever go back to 2 cards a week, yeah, you're right. Nobody's gonna read that.
It feels
stuff.
like so much right now.
No.
I can't imagine how was there a time in this game where like just this one card, it's not enough, guys. What do we do?
Right. Yeah. I don't.
What do we do on Thursday? There's no card.
How we ever got the 2 cards a week, but and now we're okay with 1 card every 2 weeks, and it's fine.
And my idea, I'm booking something out 3 months. Give us time to really stir the douche and get it nice and frothy,
It doesn't sound like the kind of thing we should give you time to practice and warm up for.
I mean, everybody's got a douche, it's not just my douche.
Sure about that?
It's like a douche grand crew. Everybody combines their best douche into a tasty brew.
The only question, the other question that kind of pops up to me is, we've been given advice that we have a pretty unique niche in the game, right? Why would we want to change that as we're trying to do a reboot, or is that something maybe we look into down the road when we have the stronger player base?
But I feel like we found our niche by. It's not, this is, we go back to CyberSlam, but it's not the same. We've always kind of evolved and added new things. And I feel like, let me run this promotion thing. Let me not run a promotion. I'm promoting a show. I'm promoting a card. And if it fails, haha, douchebag, Geno,
So first of all, let's just clarify. Calling you a douchebag is in no way an effective commentary. Your general response to that is thank you. It's a wasted, right? But
that's true.
If what you're saying is, haha, you failed, we've got Max Entropy for that. He tells you that every day. I don't know that we need to talk about it more than that.
Oh, and Stoner Boy too.
Right.
Like Randy misunderstood an argument, and he thought I was calling him a parrot. And he called me, said I was entering Pika territory. But I was just saying I turned Tony Robes into a parrot, which effectively I did. And so, of course, there was Tony Robes there to Geno Zap, almost like he's a parrot or something. Squawk. Squawk.
Oh, the fun. It's already encouraged the wrong ideas people, because now there's a suggestion for the Boner Wrestling Federation. I blame you for that.
I mean, give him something to boner. It's like give your cat something to scratch. Your dog's humping everything, get it a nice teddy bear. I mean, You got to focus their energy on something, or they're just gonna.
So let me just say this though. I took a quick look because you were saying like nobody really reads match endings. So Robe's ending from the world title match had 35 reads.
This isn't necessarily a current. This was observations.
Your pre-match ending post has 49 reads. The Bloodsport Championship ending has 32 reads. The tag match ending has 37 reads. Match endings are getting some attention.
Because they're more meaningful, I think.
Maybe because we're not doing match endings every 3 days.
Right. One card every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Once we get back into the groove, but also there's no surprise. We know who won.
We're never going back to 2 cards a week.
No. I feel like this system, it's a little bit like watching wrestling. I can watch a show and the match could end. Your match could end and you wouldn't even know it. You could win and you had no idea. You get a quick roll up. Oh, look at that. Wow, I won. Cool. And you just read that as a match post and oh, match over. You're like, there's no surprise in our match endings because it's we have the end of the match and wait 6, 8, 10 hours for a result and then another for the end.
To be fair, we no longer wait, which ties to the other side of things.
Well,
because unless it's a super serious match, the sim tells us the result. You know on Thursday if you're going to win or lose. You could finish it Thursday if you wanted to.
Exactly, but you know who's winning, you know who's losing. You don't necessarily know who's winning or losing in this one, and winning and losing isn't necessarily important. You get rolled up, but then you may beat the crap out of the guy. Then they play your music leaving. They get a win, you get your heat. That's what I'm looking for. Stuff that keeps the heat going, keeps both people looking good, looking fresh, gets something over. That's how I would look for the ending. And if you get a guy that doesn't get post, then yeah, squash him, kick him in the face, pin him. If it's something, a match that obviously didn't lead to anything, then, end it, get it over with, and we'll try something else. You can kind of tell when you put 2 people in a match together if they mesh and if they're going to work good together, though.
I'd be interested to see, after, say, 4 or 5 cards, how many of these matches are ending cleanly? How many are ending in circumstances that are other than a clean win? Just to see if those match endings are mixing it up in a way that maybe, it would be like that, but yet you're talking in a way that
it'd be like watching wrestling,
something else.
And it'd be like there's only one match going on, so everybody can watch it, everybody can pay attention, everybody's free to join in without it taking time away from their match. But at the same time, the Fed doesn't have to stop. Everybody else that's not in the match can keep doing their regular off-card stuff.
Yeah.
It's more focus on the individual matches instead of the whole card going on at once.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have a determined time for my card either. It's starting on Monday and they're going and having a great match. Let them go, And then, the second segment, and then we get to the main event, and the main event ends when it ends.
So what happens when your card takes 9 days?
I think at that point it's kind of similar to the Federation Z, how that started, but that coincided with the end of the big Geno Acid Ed feud match, and I was like, hey, I'm not really interested in making a new character, but what if we just extend this, we just fight this match out for another month, and it's just kind of taking place in its own world. And it's funny, it didn't get match of the month it was in for the FedEx award, but it got the match of the year, and that's one of the coolest. We just back and forth fought this match for a whole month, and like it was like an Iron Man match, and went to overtime, and it was like 90 minutes in. And
well, I think we're hitting on something that
the match goes on and on and on. It's not something that has to stop the rest of the Fed. It's just those 2 guys are in the middle of their main event thing that doesn't necessarily involve anybody else. They're busy doing their thing. The rest of the Fed can go on.
So I think, it's spawning a lot of conversation on the live stream. There are people who are listening who are saying, what about this? What about that? Maybe we should do it this way. Like, there's clearly an interest this time around, guys, in talking through what the finish experience should look like. I'll tell you where I come down. If Tim and I have a great match and you've got a great idea and it's an amazing ending, that you should pitch it to the one of us that wins. And if we like it, but like, it's our match, and would I be super happy if you pitched a douchebag commissioner on your crazy douchey idea that gets you over and buries us, and he liked it, and let that be the finish? No, I'd probably be shopping for
this wouldn't be the finish to your big main event. This is the finish to your random meeting, and this is meant if he comes in and gets heat with one of the two opponents, and it's building to their match.
But it chains a bunch of douchebag endings together to get to the douchebag main event ending.
Well, the douche is the best part of wrestling. That's why, everybody needs to win. Everybody needs to win. I like wrestlers that are fun to watch lose. It's fun to watch them win, but it's fun to watch them lose too.
This is true.
This is why we're using a 50-50 sim right now.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just make one last comment to it. Is I find it interesting, and I'm happy with talking about the new ideas. I'm just a little concerned that we're a month in and still trying to get the community back together and seeing what we actually have. I mean, if we have another month of this kind of activity, we're going to be talking about adding another federation within, because there's going to be enough active people, hopefully, to do that. So,
and then after
we don't know what we have.
I could promote a inter-fed card even, and I'm talking about something that's, I want it to be in addition to, not instead of, not big changes we're making. I want it to add new stuff.
So just real quick, because I saw Bill throw it up as commentary, like it's a 50-50 sim, except for the ANSI, who apparently he thinks are beasts. The number one performer on the sim is Maverick Dawson, who's winning 59% of his matches. And the number two performer on the sim is Tony Robes, who's winning 56% of his matches. The top performing ANSI currently is Tori, who is winning exactly 50% of her matches.
She's winning when they count, though.
That might be true. She might be winning the ones that count. Elisa the Prophet's winning at 54%, and nobody else is above 53. So everybody's functionally 50.
Those two are very effective when it does count.
There are some people who are losing on a 50-50 sim at an alarming rate. Vatmai has lost 66% of his matches.
I know I went 1-5 with Person Peoples last card.
I'm just taking a look for Person here to see.
I think it's pretty much the only card, only matches I've run.
So about 43% of your matches. It includes the ones that people sim against you as well.
True, yeah.
So you're 16-21. So you bounce back from that 1-5 start, which was terrible. But on the other side, like the Cole Styles start was really strong. And hold on, he wasn't doing great last, like 48%, so less than 50%.
I mean, when you're doing coin flips, everybody's gonna.
Right.
Well, I mean, I started out.
Do it for a year, everybody's gonna be at 50%.
I mean, I started out with Dawson. I was 20 matches in the hole under 50%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, clearly you have figured out how to work the system a little bit, which can be done. Even on 50-50, the sim has wrestler types and match types, and there is a pairing, a match of them, at which you're at your best. So in any event, we kind of worked our way out of Geno's promoter idea into the conversation of match endings. And I think match endings is an area that we definitely want to make sure we really flush through. We went from sim, every post judged, bonus for 2 posts that weren't back to back on the same day or were at least 3 hours apart. You could earn up to, I can't remember what it was, but I want to say we judged up to a certain number of points on posts. And now we're really saying the only place we're going to spend time judging and putting that burden on somebody is maybe title matches or real big matches where you put the request in. And the rest of the time, we let the sim decide it, which means right away before we post results what the actual answer is. What's the argument against that structure as we go forward? That's going to create a lot more, hey, you're going to have to eat this loss.
I don't know if I have necessarily for arguments against how we do stuff, except just with the idea I had that there's a surprise level reading the board where you can just, the match ended. Wow, look at that. Like when you're watching wrestling, like, quick roll up. 1, 2, whoa, hey, look at that. Or we don't have that now. We know who won, and it's kind of just watching wrestling after you read the spoilers. I don't care. I know who won.
So
fast forward.
Nobody forces you when you win with Geno, when you write the ending to make Geno the winner. So why do you?
Sometimes I don't. There's been times
I can't remember the last time that happened.
I have just been taking finishing rights and giving myself the loss. I've done that before.
I don't remember it.
Just like I didn't even wait for the match to end. I just like day 2 of the match, quicker. Oh no, he rolled him up. I've done that before. I don't mind taking a loss.
Well, I'm just asking, like, if surprise is what you want, the person who has finishing rights has the opportunity to do it.
That's true too, but I mean, the results have already been posted. So and so won.
Doesn't matter if you have finishing rights. You want to drop the title, but we're not going to overrule you. You won.
That's fake news. Look at that.
We assume that if you win, you want the win, but if you decide you don't, I don't think Tim and I are going to turn around and say to Carnage, no, you're not allowed to drop the belt.
Yeah, but I would, first of all, it's not really phrased that, you get to decide the ending, but, and I would just, the fact that, the match could end at any time, which is interesting. I like it could be a 6 seconds Alan Scott type of situation. I'm adding that to the matches I'm booking. Alan Scott versus Kieran Crow in a 6-second challenge. He has 6 seconds to beat you.
He can do it. I believe in him. He can do it.
All right. Yeah, a lot of my top 5, they're kind of troll entries.
Jeff, what if we do a better job at not forcing those match endings on anybody, but maybe on those key matches that we see a meaningful story path. So maybe pulling the winner aside and suggesting something that they might not have thought of.
And another thing I've done, I've just interfered and ended other people's matches. I've definitely done that.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons we're not comfortable with giving you carte blanche on these ideas is that we know that will just encourage the full douche.
I'm trying to flourish the douche in everybody.
I love that James
I just want us to be the douche fed.
That we should have the good guys rules match endings, which was very entertaining and very difficult to finish as we passed rights back and forth. Brendan said, what if we didn't sim until the writing was done.
That's interesting too.
That's a pretty good suggestion.
What if Tim and I didn't post results? What if you guys simmed and we
And
just
then
sent
you would,
a message to somebody and said, "You win. Go ahead.
yeah, here's your
End
numbers.
it however you want."
Yeah, something like that. That would like make it more like watching wrestling, watching a show, you know? Where now it's kind of more like we work there, we know everything that's going to go on, which is part of what. But I feel like some of
I
these
think you're
feds are like some of these feds, you're watching them as a fan. Some of them you're watching them as a participant. Some of them you're watching them as a backstage booker, and I feel like we kind of have all of that, and let's kind of bring that out.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good suggestion. It's worth testing out in a few matches
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how it works.
And
I
it
think
might
so.
even be something where somebody could stand alone, come and watch this card without necessarily having to commit to watch to all of FedEx, you know? You can watch this self-contained wrestling card for a week. And maybe the angles get you to keep tuning in, and maybe they don't. I feel like, you know, new ideas are good ideas until they're not.
So here's my biggest concern with all the ideas you've thrown around.
And I want to say these are not critiques on how the Fed is being run. These are all things that have been going through my head for years and years and years, and I never
I've heard
really
most of them before.
You know, when I was kind of halfway running the place, so I was halfway dying, and what could we're gonna know? Oh, what if we did this? What if we did this? And well, but now we're going again and say, hey, maybe some of these ideas are good.
Right. I think
Well,
the biggest
good.
challenge with the ideas that you have is that you wait for other people to execute them.
I mean, I'm the chief idea officer.
Right?
No execution, just ideas.
That's right.
And like I had the drafting your opponents in the King of Wrestling. That was a good one.
Listen, I love drafting your opponent. I pitched it for the television tournament to Tim earlier. It's not a big field, but it doesn't make me any less interested in having the first four people pick from the other four who they want to fight.
And I like it really rewards whoever is the top seed, because it's not necessarily maybe this. I hate it when like your team's a high seed and they play this low seed, but they're just a low seed because their big player was injured all year, but now they're back and now you're screwed. It's a bad matchup. I want to pick my matchup, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and I think there's tons of room to keep on doing that kind of stuff. Trying to think of those kind of things that continue to make it interesting.
Yeah.
I guess my main point is we're a month in. Let's take some baby steps to get us right before we start to get too much into it.
Hey, Haley, give me a sandwich.
There does seem to be some support on the boards on the live stream here for the idea that we would say, hey, wrestling match Wednesday and Thursday, sim on Friday. We're not going to post results. If you win, you'll get a message. So there's no public access to outcomes.
That's something, and yeah. I just like, and you know, maybe
I
a
think
match
you.
one
I
day,
think you'd have more
go
people
5 days.
interested in tuning in to see what that match ending is. Sure.
Right. Right.
And we don't really have to structure any different than what we do now. It's just the process difference.
Yep. It's also not inconceivable that if I wanted to, I could change the results page on the website. So only Tim and I could see results that were older than the last 5. So nobody else would be able to go on the results page and figure out who won.
Oh, you sim and you have no idea what the result is. That way I wouldn't have to post results. Yeah. I'm copy and pasting on a phone. I'm doing all my posting on a phone from right now. And I figured out it's not my fingers that are slow, it's my brain. It takes me the same amount of time.
Yeah. So we got a couple of people who dropped by who aren't from FedEx. That's great to see them in the live stream. Bill was in the process, I think, as I was saying that a minute ago, of suggesting, anybody who can do math can figure out who won the results. But the actual answer is exactly what James asked after that, which is I can make it so you guys can't see the results page. So I don't know.
The idea of somebody else ending a match for you via interference, which is a huge thing that happens in wrestling. Why are there 5 ring ropes? It's tripping me out now.
Dude.
Boxing 4. Who has 5? Is that like some weird Muay Thai ropes? I don't even know.
So I just so you guys know, I see some piling up support for the idea of sim the last day and hide the results so no one can see them. I think I can do that. And I think I can do it pretty easily. I'll confirm. I might even confirm while we're on here talking and just let you guys know. I think I can take it off, like turn it off on Thursday night and turn it back on Saturday morning. And in
that case, I think we
see the results.
sim first day of the card. So then if somebody wants to end it day 2, go ahead.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say about that.
Don't do it in a good match. If you're having a great match, keep going. But if it's a crapper, just end on day 2.
You were going to say something there, Tim?
So are we going to get people saying that, hey, I forgot what my result was because I can't go in and look at it?
No,
post it?
So I think what we're going to do is we're going to say you're going to sim. Oh yeah, I guess that does create problems.
Well, they won't be able.
Here's the deal. If I have to go add them all up, anyways, I don't
something
need you to post
that would
results.
email results
Right.
or send results directly to you guys,
Well, I mean, people,
or a designated.
well, yeah, but they're gonna say, I forgot how many times I simmed this person. I'm just, or they'll lose track of. Okay, you're supposed to sim somebody 3 times or
put
whatever.
Put the results up. Simmed so and so in a hardcore match, but just don't put the result on.
Yeah. So if those of you who are on the live stream right now take a look at the FedEx Wrestling website, you'll see you cannot see results right now. I just turned them off. When we wrap up, I'll turn them back on. And so, like James was saying, you need to be able to see afterwards that there's no, was that really what happened? Yeah, that's what happened. Go take a look. You can see it. But you won't be able to see it or know at the time the results are being generated.
It's worth a try.
Yeah. That's right. And James is right. If the question is like, I might not have simmed enough, sim some more. We're only going to take the first result.
Yeah. We're going to take the first. Yeah. So you get 20 matches a day.
That's right.
I mean,
especially with 20 matches a day. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I've been prepared to change forever, but so far there's not really a good reason.
Who cares?
So who cares?
That's right.
If we start tying money and other stuff to it, that
you
would
guys don't have the balls to slam person peoples.
Actually, they have, and he's not doing well.
But
who's that person? Person who?
He's a people person.
Horrible name.
I like that even in the Geno post, you ran him down for having a terrible name. That's pretty good.
Just for some reason, there's just this. Hi, I'm person peoples.
Mr. Ice.
We're just gonna drive right over that right now.
I'm gonna turn a heel and make him like a macho, and he's gonna be man. He's gonna be guy
you
man.
Posted 5 times with Jackie this week and once with person peoples.
You shouldn't post when you're concussed. CTE, man, that's serious.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I got some direction. I like person peoples in a match with me. Cool.
I'm gonna have Maverick Dawson start a campaign to have Cole Styles team with Deacon instead of person peoples. It's a much better matchup. Or the hugger. Yeah,
I don't know how. Like if Peoples stays concussed, I think it has to be the hugger. There's just too much chemistry there. It's hard to have chemistry with my tag team partner who posts once every 10 days.
10 days, huh? That's kind of Marlo's fault.
Blame Marlo. Post was so traumatic that you couldn't post to somebody else.
He threw me into a pretend wrestling psychosis.
No, you were too busy doing boner titles with movies. Sorry.
2.5 boners. Nobody came up with that one. That's great. 2.5 boners.
That's awful. Awful. If you're new,
Half
and
of the bottom half, or is it like split like a hot dog?
oh my gosh. All right. Where's the button where I kick Geno off the call?
Do like a douche button.
Douche.
Wipe the last 30 seconds.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I don't think, as we're talking about this, I don't think we missed any of the core things that we wanted to talk about, but I do think that one of the things we wanted to talk about.
You all right?
What's that?
Thought maybe you had a seizure there.
You sneezed, it was just focused on you.
No.
All right. Let's
take a COVID
let's talk
test on
about
yourself? Ooh.
let's talk about our top fives.
Top fives.
Let's go top five, because I think top five will give us some real talking points as we go forward. And I know some of the guys on the live stream will probably have some reaction to this. So our top five is Geno.
We're going to be top 5 matches you would book if you were a promoter.
With the players we have today.
Yeah.
Or they're all.
Just checking. Like we agreed, and there's no guarantee Geno followed the rules.
Or they're all.
Ember's on
alts.
fire here. No.
Or they're alts. That's right.
No.
Who's got their list ready and wants to go first?
I do.
I got my list right here.
We're going to go to Tim first. Lars, as the person who actually books cards and doesn't just throw out ideas and expect other people to execute them, what have you got for us?
Okay, so I have an honorable mention and a top 5. So, fictional character Shreddy Mercury versus Val. I would love to see. Would be
just
one.
like a little air guitar thing going on there.
Of course.
Nice.
Aaron Action versus Johnny XS. Do it.
The
That'd be
rematch
awesome.
of the King of the Cage finals, or King of the Street Fight.
He's always trashing Aaron Action.
Yeah.
Got to see it.
You will. That's the one accent I can pull off. That's the one I can do. Just change all the S's to ths, and you got it.
Next is number 4. Let's get it out of the way. The Kid versus Geno.
Kansas Kid versus Genocide.
Let's get it over with.
Serious wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
Pure wrestling rules.
Number 3. Let's do Harry versus the Kansas Kid.
All right. I'd tune in for
Or
that.
double 2 of your matches, and they're going to be Kansas Kid. That's a lot.
Getting some love. I don't know.
Isn't that a lot? A lot of Kansas Kid. Ew.
All right. So number 2, we'll eventually get there, but we'll go Maverick Dawson versus Omega.
All right.
It's called good beer. Number one, you know he's angling to it. So Robes versus Alan Scott.
You know, everybody likes it when the little kid in kindergarten wants to be them when they grow up. And gosh darn it, I like it that's who you want to be too, Tony.
Where is Tony, by the way? Did he get a little? Is he a little boner butt hurt?
I think he's in British quarantine with his kids.
That affects the internet?
They're driving him insane.
Boner butt hurt.
You probably had to go to bed. It was early.
I mean, I'm using the computer my kid goes to first grade on. I mean, that's not an excuse.
You still in their Chromebook.
Yep, Chromebook.
like, Dad, I'm trying to do home. Shut up. I got a podcast.
Daddy, I need to do math.
All right.
I'm not doing my posts from here. I'm doing that on the phone. I'm doing the podcast.
Are you writing your posts on a phone?
Yeah.
Oh, you have way more respect for me now. 1 a week's more than enough. I don't know how you guys do that.
I hit the space bar only about half the time I'm trying to do it.
If I have to,
that space bar, you don't have to think about that space bar. Bam, 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 bam.
if I'm out and about, I'll write it in an email, and then when I get to a computer, I'll
Cut and
take
paste.
that and then cut and paste. It's a lot easier.
It's not taking me any longer. It's all in my brain, the slowness. It's not my typing. I feel
All
like
right,
I
so
had
that's
to
a good
talk with Manhaniels, and he's kind of OCD with me, where he just has to compete with like writers that are like better than you, and you have to keep. I just need to add this one more line in here, and I need to go back and do this. And poor Manhaniels, we got the same issues.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Dan's got the
We
OCD.
can do it, man. We can do it, Stan.
All right.
We're good enough to pull it off.
Give us your top 5.
Top 5. All right. Number 1. These aren't in any particular order. These are the matches I would probably book. A lot of them are going to be me. They're like big matches, and it's going to be those are the matches I would promote. Like,
Right. We know. Nobody's
like
surprised.
Floyd Mayweather is his own promoter. He's not promoting other matches. There's undercards. We can get the enhancement talent like Tony Rhodes in. Genocide versus Acid Ed for the undisputed king of wrestling. There's a dispute there. Somebody can say it. That's been in the head. I have more than 5, but some of them are trolls. A lot of them are trolls. Stan Daniels versus Valentine.
Yep, for sure. No question.
We got a Stoner Parrot versus Tony the Parrot in a cockfight.
Very clever.
Like Chris has to do both characters, fight himself. Who else we got?
I don't know if Chris can write well enough to sell Tony the Parrot.
Squat? No, he's great at parroting. Especially if you tell him, "Hey, dude, you should parrot." Like, give him advice.
I can't believe you talked him into that.
I feel like I got
It might be one of your greatest.
I got a weird boner force power rankings on who hates me the worst. And he hates me. He's number 1 now. But Kansas Kid's like down there with Benny now.
You guys should not be getting along. That's not good.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Weird. Yeah, I need to stay out of the boner stuff. Another match I have is the Boner Force 4. All of them. In an 8-man tag against the Anasiu sisters, Booby McGee, and Marlowe.
You just hate Randy? Is that the deal here? This is your revenge for his Geno Madness post?
That's what I'm writing him into.
A douche.
The Geno fuck pile. Or the Marlowe fuck pile.
That's right.
A real match. The New Breed versus Team SBFF. You have to tune in to the Geno pay-per-view to see it.
It's the only place you're going to get it.
Geno versus Acid Ed. Tony the Parrot. Exclusive contracts. Another match would be the New Breed versus the Hot Girls. Of course, fake Eve Riley and Chimp Chance. It's a barn burner.
Such a good cluster that was.
We need another SBFF versus the world.
You can't get enough of that.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
now that we've mentioned it, what is it, about 6 minutes till Tony posts one of those?
Squawk, squawk.
Poor Tim's got to sit here and listen to us run down his partner.
Now you know how I feel in the talking to boners on Discord.
That's right.
NGPW special. Genocide versus Hank Hooligan versus Kieran Crow.
Make that happen. We can make that happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kieran Crow, that's one of my biggest feuds, and I came up with the move. I don't even know what, the extractor, I think I called it, and I had him handcuffed into a chair and had him bite the top of the chair and hit him in the back of the head. I knocked out all of his teeth. And I knew he would sell it. That's why I did it to him. And he, of course I did that right before Geno and Haley's wedding. And, so that, of course, had to interfere with that. And
got a little retaliation.
Big stuff. That's also had Hank Hooligan and Kieran Crow in the same King of Wrestling.
Would like to see that.
So a triple threat for maybe a pretend King of Karma title.
Not bad.
Right. My main event here. That's way more than I think. That's like 9. It's a either or. It's Geno versus Lars, or Geno versus Lars and Grayson in a handicap match.
Who gets to write the contract?
My SBFF, Scott.
Working the angles there. All right, so there's top 57.
No, that's the one angle I couldn't do. I couldn't make my SBFF my special guest ref and expect him to be less than honest.
It's true. All right. So
I also have bad news. I was going to show you my my skills as a promoter, and I was going to book a surprise Ask SBFF Ask XS surprise, but he got drunk at his own kid's birthday party, so he can't come on.
That sounds about right. Hey, can you come on? Totally.
He didn't even answer the last ask.
That sounds weird to a non-parent, but
yeah,
you have kids, especially that yeah. They don't understand mommy and daddy's right now.
It's quarantine, and he spends a lot of time with himself. I'd be drunk too. So here's my top 5. I'll keep it short and simple and get to the point. Number 5, without a doubt, and I can't wait to see it when it does eventually happen. I want to see Tony Robes and Maverick Dawson. And I want to see it in something hellaciously awful, like a cage match.
One of my first ideas for Jackie Douglas was to go up to Tony Robes, and you don't need this guy.
It's just
other stuff happened, but that was one of my first ideas.
But we missed that post.
I said I'm an idea man. If my post became ideas, I'm the greatest in the world. I'm always on there. I
would like to see
Chance plus Grayson plus Strife.
Genocide versus Hank Hooligan. But I would like Hank to start in the ring and Genocide to have a big ball and chain around his ankle and try and make it to the ring before the 10
an obstacle course. An obstacle course.
Everybody, the boys in the back could do everything they could to stop Geno from making
it. I have to fight everybody I've ever done anything douchey to on the way to the ring before the 10 count.
There's a few that I would really like to slip in, but I cannot ignore that the return of Stan Daniels affords me a rematch that I very much want to book myself in. Stan Daniels versus Alan Scott in a Good Guys Rules match one more time. That match was the most fun I've had in ages, and I'd love to see it again.
Can FedEx afford William Shatner?
I mean, he might give us a Good Guys discount as a founding member.
Alan Scott could afford.
He do like we'll give him like a spoken word album of all the FedEx themes, all the FedEx entrance music.
So these last two are going to overlap a little bit because I just couldn't cram kind of enough into this.
Boners, what?
I would like to see Kieran Crow and either Marlowe or Deacon Brody and really see them go. Those two guys move stories so well. I think the story building up to it in the match would be fantastic.
Interested to see what Deacon Brody can do in this triple threat with Person Peoples.
And so the last one, which, really, if I'd had more than 5, probably would have been my last 3, just going back and forth and back and forth. I wasn't sure if I was going to say.
Just be a douchebag and take more than 5.
Valentine versus Stan Daniels, or Stan Daniels versus Valentine. I'd like to see both of those matches. So, sorry, Kieran's objection to Aaron Action is so entertaining. Maybe I want to see Kieran Crow versus Aaron Action.
Yeah.
100%.
That'd be a sensational match.
Thanks, Dusty. I am going to get to see eventually one of the matches I'm actually looking forward to. So I haven't written it down, but the day that we get Society of Serious Wrestlers Kansas Kid against Tony Robes is going to be fun, like legit fun. And there will be all kinds of hidden commentary about the boners and not being a boner and not being allowed to use that. Like, I'm looking forward to that. Nothing but a good time. And you guys, we could probably write card after card of what we'd like to book.
If I could book a title match, it'd be Carnage and the Kansas Kid.
Well, we got news for you.
We'll tune in.
The announcement is coming.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be that different, guys.
So I'm looking at the live stream. If you're on the live stream right now, and there's a match you would love to see booked, and it could be somebody's alt. It doesn't have to be their current one. I would love to hear about it. Bill's asking what I would have without boners. Less expenses.
Blasted Ed.
More money in my bank account.
Less children.
Right. Less expenses.
It's just so much done, man. So many activities.
Tim, nobody grabbed one of your other alts to drag him in. Are you surprised that we didn't reach back and call for a Lasher match or a...
No.
Not at all?
I'm not surprised. No.
No?
Even Lasher versus
okay.
Geno and Haley.
What's that?
Even Lasher versus Geno and Haley.
Mixed tag matches are always so entertaining.
But,
Just like real life.
But she's apparently a nun now, so there you go.
Brendan would like to see the Society of
He'll
Serious
come home.
Wrestlers
And
against
he'll come home.
VOTS and the ANSI. So there's one. I feel bad for Tim because I'm going to make him judge that.
Oh.
There's only so much you can do with that. So
That might be a fun brawl match, don't you think?
I don't think Randy signed up for that.
I think we got a Costanza step in.
All right. So here's one for you guys. We decide last minute we're going to have a card tomorrow. We absolutely have to book a superstar championship match. Can't put more than 3 people in it. Based on what you're seeing right now, and obviously you're not going to double book a champion, who do you put in it?
Right now.
Silence.
That's interesting. So I
No
would
answers.
say,
All right.
no, I'll go ahead and shoot. I would say, and I'm never going to push myself, but I would say, with what's going on, the Kansas Kid,
Okay.
and before this week, because activity has dropped down for some reason for Chris, but Tony Robes and
It's boner butthurt.
yeah, well, I don't know. And you're saying non-champion, so that would pull Carnage out of it.
That's right.
So I would say the next. It's tough. So it's like pick. I would say.
It's like you're picking.
I would say Kieran Crow.
Crow's a good choice. Crow's a good choice.
So it's a Crow, Robes, and the Kid.
All right. What do you think, Geno?
I think I'm 4-way and add Dawson in. Yeah, that's.
Have we given him a single rule he hasn't just disregarded and added extra to? Like, just,
Oh, did you say triple threat?
yeah.
Okay.
I also said top 5. Like, you just don't worry, it's your thing. You can't hear numbers. I get it.
Jason, you just got to say honorable mention, and then it's okay.
Honorable mention. Yeah, who would I take out? No, I'm gonna stick to it.
Kieran.
I would have to take old
Kid.
Tony out because he's slipping.
Yeah, this week's
If
been
you want to carry a Fed, you got to carry it. You can't
a little rough.
set it down for a little bit and pick it back up. You got to really carry it. Carried a lot of Feds. You got to pick it back. You know.
So I just want to be really clear. If I know you really just want to bust on him, but you're busting on him, as you say, Kieran stays in it, and he no knock to Kieran here, but he outworked Kieran this week. So
I feel like there's a trend up and a trend down.
all right.
Or maybe I'd bump Kieran out.
Listen,
maybe.
I don't care who's been active or what. You put me to the gun and I look at who's on the roster. You're getting Stan Daniels against Kieran Crow and Maverick Dawson.
Yeah, I was going on activity.
I know.
Yeah, I'm going on activity too, like a reward for who's been.
You're good guys. Look at you. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Stan Daniels,
and that's really the thing that you have to balance. You know, like reputation and talent and known versus earned.
Also, I just noticed on the live stream,
playoffs,
James responded to the question of that Superstar Championship with, "Do you mean who are the other 2?" And yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Was there
Because for
talk
sure
of
you're in, brother.
was there talk of the Superstar Championship and then a Max and Trophy Invitational?
So I think on the Discord it started with I can't remember, maybe it was Holland saying, when are you thinking of bringing that back? And I said, when you show me a list of people who want to do all that judging.
Right.
And the response to that was then, Bill saying, hey, like I could judge, I'm not up to compete and write in that, but I would judge it. I'm up to judge something. And I said, well, how about judging the Max Entropy Invitational? And I think that spawned at least a level of interest from him to say, well, that's an interesting concept.
Wouldn't he have to invite people though?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to get Frozen Geno. Great. Let's talk some shit about him while he
Frozen Geno.
Frozen Geno.
Sorry about your Reds. They suck.
Yeah. Just trash.
Poor
They're,
choice. Poor choice of state. Poor choice of team. Just a
Going
poor
sideways.
choice all around.
It's going sideways quickly, folks. Oh, he's back.
He's not Han Solo anymore.
That's right.
It's almost like my kid is trying to do first grade school. Boot it off. Oh, hello.
So yeah, so let's get some more conversation. I mean,
well,
Max, you wanna take it? Go for it.
Colt certainly wants you to know that Frozen Geno is way better than any other Geno. We can count on you, Colt. I like the idea of Bill, once a month, once a quarter, putting an invite out to two wrestlers and saying, these two guys have earned it. I'm going to judge it. He can set an angle to it, or a story to it, or whatever he wants to do.
He can be a promoter, probably a more active promoter than Geno, who's frozen again, acting like he's frozen.
This is the problem, folks. Geno's going to plan a card for you, and then you'll be like, "Can I get results?" And
I told you, write your own results. Damn it! I made the system where I don't have to do anything. Come on, do it. It's the future. It's the future.
Hey, let me just ask the question while we're talking, guys, because I see Brendan throwing something out there. Brendan suggesting a superstar title shot. Brendan, you want to clarify? You're suggesting the winner of the Max Entropy Invitational gets a superstar title shot?
That'd be cool.
I wouldn't be against that either.
I'd be willing to judge.
Oh, look at that.
Not
See,
me.
as long as it's not me, folks. As long as it's not me. Seems like there's
no superstar matches on Geno cards. I'm booking a card too, by the way, guys. I mean, I know you guys never really said, yeah, you can do it, but
I think
did you guys accept the challenge either, though?
The whole Fed is waiting to see you actually follow through with something.
It's been issued. A date.
I would just think
4/20. Geno versus Lars and Grayson.
We'll just wait till you freeze and count you out.
Then we can call you out on all your wrong allegations that you're giving us.
That doesn't count in America. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, heal America.
You can just
of course
invade your own capital. Whatever. About the lady that was holding the "Don't Tread on Me" flag and got trampled to death. You're about her. Can't make it up.
We knew that we could count on you to keep on target.
We just need Price.
That's right. That's all we're missing.
I tried. He got too drunk at his own kid's birthday party. He was going to do a live Ask XS. It would have been amazing.
It could have
been. That's the Geno card. Could have been amazing.
Hey, so we've got all the people on the live stream. Before Geno freezes and we boot him from the podcast and wrap up, does anybody have a question for Geno?
Uh-oh. Yeah.
You can ask questions about his match finisher angle. You can ask questions about his promoter idea. You can ask questions about why he named his character Person Peoples. You can ask questions about the Cincinnati Reds. You just can't ask questions about his weight or his hairline.
Cup size.
No cup size. Because when it comes up on the podcast, it's not good for anybody.
I mean, we want to attract new people. the E-Fetter, fat bald. There's a lot of overlap in that Venn diagram, folks.
Hey, there's some love for the name Person Peoples.
I think it's got some potential.
I'm sorry.
I need to hone it.
So I don't disagree. I think you can make a whole thing out of that, but you got to give him more personality if he's going to be Person Peoples.
He's Ice Cube.
That's kind of the point. He's Person Peoples, but he doesn't really know how to be a person or peoples. Might be like an autistic thing. I go all the way in on.
Colt would like to know if you've ever seen Jericho live.
I have several times. I saw a Monday Nitro, Jericho and Ralphus live. You guys want me to do the Ralphus shirt? I'll do it.
No, we
Ralphus
don't
shirt.
want you hey, by the way, does everybody know that Ralph?
I've had really good seats at a Raw show. My mom worked at a doctor's office. Then the doctor was like their on-call doctor, and he left like on-call tickets for my mom because she knew him. And I was like third row, and somebody in my row called Hugh Morris a faggot, and he got really pissed about it. It was good times.
Man, no chance those people were guys we knew. None of that language gets out there. Oh, we're into the finishing mile here. We're drinking the Excess brand beer. Okay, doesn't look like we have any real questions for Genocide. I guess you're just not as over as you thought you were. That's hard for me to say.
Story of my career. Alan hitched onto the wrong horse.
After people see the real douche, it all comes out.
That's right. Hey, Tim, before we go, is there anything that you want to hit on before we leave? Anything about the card that's coming up? Anything about the promotion of the card that we want to make sure people know about?
Yeah. So we're going to do the card reveal the Tuesday, the day before the actual card starts. So the card is Wednesday through Friday next week. We're going to do the card reveal the Tuesday night at 7:00. So
Eastern.
it'll be Eastern.
So 7:00 Eastern.
With the special on the 19th. Say on the Facebook channel, all that stuff. We'll start promoting that tomorrow. And we'll do the card reveal. We'll have a couple extra segments. We'll have Max on there with a special floating head segment that you guys can't miss.
Not to be missed.
It's gonna be wonderful. And we have the comedy writings of Mr. Kansas Kid in the mix. So we'll have some help on hopefully some comedy with that.
Before we move off of that, and because you're talking about the comedy writings of the Kansas Kid, am I the only one who thought he went awfully easy on Geno when he came on the podcast?
Totally.
I mean,
totally.
I expected more.
He's weakened and softened on him in the last couple of weeks. I don't know why.
It's only going to be worse because we've been like bonding on Discord. He loves me now.
No, you got to be booted off the boner.
He's moved up in my boner rankings to number 2, and the boner rankings are just who likes me better. So
hey,
he's
hold on. Let's be
clear
really
number
clear.
2.
What are your boner rankings?
Benny, of course, Benny's number 1.
Yes.
It's like if the Beatles had 3 Ringos. You don't. Benny. Number 2 is Kansas Kid. I'm gonna have to go with Max. His feeder post, he got me.
That's a surprise.
The review. I mean, I gave him a bad review. It probably should have been like 3.5 stars. I've seen better, but it was good.
I'm gonna review your.
By the way, 1 star for saying I can't. 1 star for saying I can't review feeder posts on the board. 1 star. Trying to hide the negative reviews for your bad products on different boards. But 1 star. But
So
yeah,
you're
Max.
saying,
No,
Let's not forget, I think Eliezer is now officially a boner. And I was told Homeless Jay qualifies as a boner.
Max is going to count any boners. He's not like Max is number 4 boner just for saying that.
Your reviews are your best stuff in years, by the way.
Max, he can't jazz. His jazz is sad. It's the blues. Max plays the blues. It's sad jazz. So Stoner Parrot number 3, Prophet number 4, just because he's new, and then Max number 5. And I'd also like to announce my retirement from feuding. I had a character feud. I'm not going to do it anymore. I just want to be friends. I just want to be friends now.
It's like all of you.
I'm officially
feud with.
I'm not Geno anymore. I'm Person Peoples. I just want to be a good person.
Feud. Heat. Feud.
Heat. Although Geno will come back for the Geno versus Lars. Dead daughter's ashes on a pole match.
An awful visual on that one. We are losing momentum in a
the only other thing I wanted to say is you got
both go better through water than douche.
You got the shot to do the number one slotting for the TV championship. I want to announce the number 2 slotting for the tournament.
Yes.
If you'll
somebody is getting the number 2 seed, and the call is Lars to decide.
Right? Kieran Crow.
Can we get the TV screen title championship though?
Kieran Crow is the number 2 seed. Kieran, that means the qualifying match this week is your opportunity to knock 2 people out of contention and get yourself a bye in the first round.
Right. So it was between Holland, Crow, Styles, Omega, and Brody. And Kieran's just been a solid activity guy.
Yeah.
And following all the angles and ripping it up. So thumbs up.
Awesome.
Did you say Holland?
I said Holland.
That guy. Oh. I know I don't run in his circle. Ooh. Holland.
So I'll just
Netherlands. I hate the Dutch.
It was nice having you, Geno. All right. So I haven't had to do that before, but Geno was done with the podcast. I just had to tell Zoom not to report him and block him from future podcasts. It wanted to know why I kicked him out. I kicked him out so we could wrap up clearly, and so that Tim could give really clear. So Tim, let's just repeat real quickly the number 2.
Sure, the number 2, Kieran Crow in the TV championship tournament. It was for me. It was between Omega, Holland, Deacon, Brody, and Cole, Styles, and Kieran. Those are the guys in my top list. And at the end of the day, Kieran's been with us from day 1 since we rebooted. He's followed everything along, and he's been active and interested, and he's providing serious content to our community. He's earned it, nonstop, no doubt.
That's great, and I'm super happy for him. That's going to be exciting. Apparently, kicking Geno off is the most popular thing we did on the podcast all night. Who knew?
Less dead air.
Let's be super clear. We were at the end anyways, and I just wanted to be able to wrap it up tightly. So,
sure.
Hey, before we go, a bunch of people we see showing up on the live stream, a bunch of new people showing up on the boards.
Yeah.
I need to be thinking ahead about, next podcast and who do we get on and who haven't we heard from? Is there somebody? So I was thinking the other day, I can't remember. I mean, obviously we've done it, but it's been forever since we've heard from Benny Blair. So I got to reach out and see if we can prompt him to come back. But who have you seen show up? And do you have any thoughts on people who are maybe listening right now that haven't been on or haven't been on in a long time? We need to get back on and have a conversation with.
So, I would go to the obviously the elephant in the room, which I don't know if he's willing or able or healthy enough to be Randy. Solid piece of our community, and is putting a lot of effort in to at least playing with me and my story, and I've enjoyed it, even though it's not come across that way, but it's been fun, for sure. And then Val, Val's in everybody's top list for just about everything that we throw out there. He was in 2 of them tonight, so he's around. Why not? And you had mentioned that'd be fun. That'd be a fun cast, just you and him, for sure. And if he can somehow wrangle the big O Osiris, that'd be great too.
Oh, how good would that be? Yeah, I would love to do that one. That would be fun. So I think there's a couple of people now. I know, the formats are really different between what we do on this podcast and what you do with the card reveals.
Well, it's going to change. It's going to change this week drastically. So
I believe it. Yeah,
it's going to be a little bit more crazy. So we'll see.
I think there's a couple. So one of the suggestions out there, by the way, is for Battlestone, that we get them on to talk like life in the actual wrestling world, which I think would be a great time to do. So if it's Max,
we'd love to have Max.
Yeah, if you're out there and you want to do it, let's do it. I'd love to get Kieran on here and do a little bit more of the interviewing. Like, let's dig into the background of Kieran, having him talk about his first big national feud and I saw it on the live stream today, be Hank Hooligan. Like, what a great conversation. Love to do it.
I think he wants to do some reporting, like some quick FedEx bits.
Which would be, I'd love to see that, right? Yeah. All those ideas that people are getting and go, maybe I'll do this. Like, I'd love to see Bill pick up the Max Entropy Invitational and just do a one-man challenge and let it be 90 seconds, and we can drop it in all our social media as he calls certain people out and says, let's go, your next month's Max Entropy Invitational, you versus you. I'm going to let you guys know in 2 weeks what the match type is going to be. And then he does another 90-second one and drops the match type. Like, it doesn't have to be a big, long 90-minute event. And so all of that stuff is stuff I'm excited to see everybody in the community just put together and create.
And that's a good point. I mean, if anybody's got an idea, we're all open for it. Let's have a conversation. We got a guy in Kashmir who's now got a segment, who he came to us and said he just didn't have the time to be active anymore, and we tried to talk him out of it, and we provided him another Piper's Pit kind of segment. Sure. We'll see where it goes.
That's right.
If you just want to post once every 2 weeks and have a segment, okay,
we'll figure it out.
We'll make that work.
That's right.
So if you got an idea, you want to be on or whatever, to add value to what we're crazily doing here, let's have a conversation and do it.
100%. And there's a lot of people I'm looking, we had Colt on ages ago. Maybe it wasn't his best day to be on. I'd love to have Colt back on. And of course, Stan, you've heard Manhaniels on other podcasts, but I would love to get him on as well. And I think threw out the suggestion that it should be the Val versus Stan Daniels podcast. And I certainly am not against that idea.
We now have to deal with, Tiffany. So who's got all the money?
We're going to have to deal with this mess. Hey, good night. Glad everybody made it. Thank you to everybody who was on the live stream. Great feed. Thank you to our guest Genocide, who unfortunately couldn't stay with us right until the end. And Tim, thanks for joining me once again. Looking forward to what you guys are going to do Tuesday night. I know it's going to be a blast. People are going to be entertained. Maybe we'll get one more special guest appearance by Team SBFF. The last one was fantastic.
We're working on it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Cheers.